You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome back to the 6th episode of Info Dump the Podcast, the show where I, your host, Theo Mastio, sits down with people and talks to them about their special interest and field of study. Today's guest is my lovely friend Hekla Peterson, known for her work on many films and shorts in the Richmond area. Mm-hmm. How are you doing today, Hekla?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Theo?
I'm doing great. Yay! Okay, so today we are talking about the art of filmmaking. Our guest today has graduated with her bachelor's in film and is looking at returning to school for her master's in film, maybe. While both of us, her more than me, have credentials in film, please note that we are not Spielberg or Gerwig, but rather our own artists as Mastio and Peterson. Like always, our first segment is getting to know the topic and our guest a bit better. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is your typical role on a film set, and what does that role entail?
Okay. Well, recently I've been really lucky because I've been directing, and that's the goal and the dream. And directing is more than people think it is. I think the base layer of it is telling the actors what to do, and doing that thing where it's like, it could be sadder, or there could be tears. But directors actually do way more than that from start to finish. On mine recently, I did one where I wrote the script, which is super common in low-budget film. And then another where I was brought on really late. Usually the caster has something to do with the casting, what the film's going to look like. They help every single department, even the costumers, figure out what they're doing. And then on set, I try to make the actors feel as comfortable as possible, so they can... Really, I'm just trying to make what they're already doing shine.
Yeah.
That's the main thing of it, is the actors already come in with how they think the scene looks, and I just enhance what they think it looks like.
Yeah. So what got you invested in film?
Ooh. This is really stereotypical.
Okay.
The first thing that made me want to be a filmmaker was I saw Meet the Robinsons in theaters.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So good. It was the first thing I ever saw in a theater. And I left the theater with that recurring feeling of like, oh my god, the world is so beautiful, that Pixar and Disney films make a lot of people feel. But I was really upset because I think I really wanted to make a live action version of it. And I had that little kid feeling of, I could do that better.
Okay. Because one of my questions was actually, if you had to redirect any film, what would it be?
Okay, if adaptations count, it would be Meet the Robinsons for sure.
Okay.
It does not get enough love.
Yeah.
If I'm redirecting something that already is real people, I just saw Nosferatu, and it would probably be that.
Dang. Okay.
Eggers is incredible, but it might be that. There were a lot of moments where I was like, ooh, they could have done something different.
Real. Okay. So, what do you consider your first real film?
That's so difficult. The first short film I ever made was, I think I was in 8th grade, and I was really into like dark comedy and emo YouTubers, and I made a short film with my sister, my 2 sisters, and my friend about like a support group, and it was the backstories of everyone in the support group, and then at the end, they were all like the cause of each other's like grievance, like they were just, and it was really cute, but it was highly inappropriate, and my teachers did not like it at all.
Was it for a class project?
It wasn't. I was the first kid in my area to kind of figure out YouTube and post something, and so it was like a big deal. Everyone had seen it and were calling my mom, being like, that was weird.
That's so real. When I was a kid, I did something similar, except for I did not get too much acclaim. I made little YouTube videos with LPS, like the LPS popular, but like made them talk and stuff, and
oh my gosh.
and so that's actually how I got into miniatures and like that type of stuff. But yeah, that I feel like my very first film would be one of those because I was just like totally invested in it when I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So
that's special.
I know.
I always wanted to be able to do that, and I didn't have the patience.
No, I still have the like editing software that I never edited the like full videos. I would just post the videos. So, because I got editing software that was on a CD, and I just never used it because I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Editing's the hardest part, I think.
Yes. Yeah. No, I definitely think like. Well, what I was gonna ask you is like, what is your favorite role on set?
Ooh. My favorite role on set that that's really hard because my favorite two are directing and assistant directing.
Yeah.
Because directing is fully creative and assistant directing is fully logic and yelling at people. And if those two jobs could be combined, which they never should be, that would be way too much.
Yeah.
It would create my brain, I think.
That's real. Okay. No, because I've always loved stage management and I've always loved directing.
Yeah.
And I feel like those kind of combine as well with but you can't do both because if you're doing both and you're like, I mean, I did do both because you know how high school theaters are, but
yeah, that's crazy. That's like that's like being the pilot and the co-pilot at the same time.
No, it's rough. But who are the peers you work with the most?
Ooh, well, I've been working with you.
Yeah.
I love working with you.
Yay.
And I think I work the most with Andrew Nguyen, or Andrew Chi Nguyen.
I don't want to fuck his name up.
I know, like they can't look up the wrong guy. He's great.
No.
He's usually the director of photography if I'm the director.
Okay.
And if he's the director, I'm the assistant director. So we have like a environment going on.
Okay, because I feel like every time I'm like with him on set, I'm like I see him as a like director of photography, so I haven't seen him directing. So I'd love to see that.
It's crazy because usually he does both at the same time, and that's a lot.
That's a lot. Oh goodness. Yeah, so now for our second segment where I quiz you to see if you really know filmmaking so well.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope I do. That'd be embarrassing.
No, I mean, like, imagine, like, submitting your master's application and then they're like, but that video of you not answering this one question.
Okay.
Okay, so what year was the oldest film that was found made?
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Or like your general guess. I'll give you decade.
I think it was very early 1900, like literally like 1900 something.
Okay, you are 3 or 2 decades off. Let me count real
Really?
quick. Yeah, 1888.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
That is so insanely wild that they thought to do that back then.
Exactly. And it was just some random artist. I mean, I'm sure not like that random, but like
a genius.
You know, I'm
perhaps.
sure that in film school they're probably like, oh, you know, that's crazy that he did that. But and the next question is, in the typical film hierarchy for crew, who is directly above the best boy electrical?
Oh, the gaffer.
Yeah. Okay.
And for better terms, the gaffer is in charge of lighting, and the best boy is kind of like the right-hand man. And a lot of people have been saying best girl and best boy. They're trying to think of a better term for it because it's not a good term.
Yeah. No, that's the same with like in stage management or like any of the theater stuff with like, I'm trying to think of what terms. There's like a whole list that just came out that was like all of the terms in theater that you shouldn't be using. And some of them are like really crazy. They're like that I've just like never heard before, and I'm like, oh, why are people saying this? But
right?
I'll have to find the list for us in editing, but what does a greensman do on set?
Greensmen are so underrated. They take care of all the plants on set and like the earth, pretty much. Like if there's a plant on the screen, a greensman specifically has put it there.
Okay. Do I count as a greensman? Second part of this question. Do I count as a greensman for the role I have done on the Gordons? Like any of that work.
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Does it count if it's like plastic or no? Because even though it's like a fake plant.
I think it should count.
Okay.
Because I think we should give them the benefit of calling them real pumpkins.
Yes.
In the same way my squishmallows are real unicorns and dogs. Clearly.
What is crafty?
Crafty is I have a problem because I say crafty at weddings and things.
Okay.
Crafty is the snack table. Or the department called crafty are the people who take care of feeding and hydrating everyone.
Speaking of which.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Crafty moment. The most famous thing in Crafty is Welch's fruit gummies. They are like if you search up like filmmaker sticker, you might just see a Welch's fruit snack sticker, and it's because every set should have Welch's fruit snacks.
Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So while we are mainly on the topic of filmmaking, I wanted to bring in some film bro questions to be evil.
Ooh.
So our first question is, who directed the film Lincoln?
I have no clue. And I think it was filmed in this state, and some of my professors worked on it, and I have no clue.
Okay. The answer is Spielberg.
What? Why did he do that?
My next question is, who directed Tintin?
Spielberg.
Okay, yes.
I love Tintin is the first movie I watched in film school.
Yes. Oh my goodness. In film school, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love Tintin.
So cute.
Who directed Cosmopolis?
Oh, Spielberg. No, he didn't. No one watched that movie. Who directed it?
It's Cronenberg.
No. I thought you were just gonna give me all Spielberg movies.
I did that to trick you.
No.
You've fallen for my trap. Okay. So that was certainly something.
What are those all the questions?
Yeah, those are all the questions. You're good.
I was like, if you asked me about The Godfather or something, I might
No.
know.
So for the last segment, it's your time to shine. So please tell me all about filmmaking, what it takes to be a filmmaker, and do you really need to watch Pulp Fiction?
Okay, first I'm going to answer, do you need to watch Pulp Fiction? Because I had this conversation with Theo earlier that I often in film school and on film sets am told that I watch mid movies or that my taste in film is mid. And it's because I really appreciate some of the newer stuff, like the new Star Wars movies and the Hunger Games.
Oh my goodness, the Hunger Games.
And I think you need to watch the classics to have scholarly conversations and to understand all the references and how far we've come. But I think you need to watch all of those movies with buddies because anything Pulp Fiction or before might be a snoozer. I'm not a Pulp Fiction fan.
So speaking of like Nosferatu from earlier, did you watch the original Nosferatu?
I watched the original for class, and I only liked it because it was kind of campy, and I could, whenever I thought I was about to get scared, I could be like, okay, vampire girl. Like, I can't take them too seriously.
Yeah.
But I loved the Eggers Nosferatu.
Yes.
It was terrifying.
I'm so excited to watch that. Is it a horror movie or is
it? It is a horror movie.
Okay.
I didn't think it would be because the original, now that it's so old, it's not scary anymore.
No, right.
But now I get what they mean when they were like, it was scary at the time.
Yeah.
Because that was terrifying. aside from that.
No, that's real.
Yeah, so my favorite roles on set are in a category called production, which is directing, assistant directing, production managing, casting. One of my biggest opinions about those jobs is that assistant directing should not be called that.
Okay.
When you're the assistant director, your whole job is to make sure the film's running on set.
Mm-hmm.
So running on time.
Yeah.
And so they're the person who is like 10 minutes till picture, or the person who yells "that's a wrap."
Yes.
Is usually that's the most famous thing they say, or they'll say roll camera. But calling them the assistant director, I think, kind of diminishes their role, and they're helping everybody, not just the director.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think my opinion. Oh, the other thing was, you mentioned what it takes to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Luckily, not much.
Yeah.
You've been on sets with me a lot,
Yeah.
and I feel like you've seen that, like, everyone on our sets is from a different skill set.
Yes.
It's usually about half of us are from film school, and the other half are our friends.
Yeah. There's this really good quote. Shoot, now I'm forgetting the name of the actress. She's in Insecure. She's like the main girl, the person who created it. Issa Rae. There we go. Okay, Issa Rae, she has this great quote that's about, like, talking to people who are on your level, not just, like, trying to talk with people who are above you in, like, hierarchy or whatever. So that way you're, like, making friends and making, like, you know, those kinds of conversations with the people who are going to be with you at your level for the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, so you're,
like that.
yeah, and I love that quote because it makes me think of just all the people I've been able to just be like, hey, please help me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we make a film together.
I think, well, another quote that I don't know who made is that filmmaking is 80% networking, 20% making a film. But then another person, my friend Chris Debo, who does a lot of producing in Richmond, he told me once that networking is just making friends. And I think it's so true.
Yes.
Because I don't care how good someone is, if I didn't feel like they contributed to a good, happy vibe, I don't really want them back.
Yeah.
And also the same on sets where I've done close to nothing, but made friends with someone.
Yes.
They'll pick me up to do a set, even though they have no clue whether I'm good or not.
Yes. No, you put me on as a PA for Poser, and I loved it, and I made so many friends, and now some of them are working on episode 3 of The Gordons with me, and I'm so excited about that. Just being able to call on somebody and make community that way is just really beautiful.
Yeah, especially because we're not making profit. Like, I feel like if nothing else, the main goal is, like, having fun and having a baby that we've all made together.
Yes, like a little passion, like a little gay passion.
Yeah.
Well, it's not always gay, but I like to.
It is if we're on set.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, I mean, that's why I had you produce.
Yeah.
Theo produced my latest short film that's not out yet. Because if someone's going to be telling me to get my shit together, it's going to be my friend.
Yeah.
And
I feel like the stuff we got done, I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited. Like, just the small stuff we've seen so far from it, so.
I know. One thing about me is that I normally despise editing. Like, I really dislike editing. And my professional start was that I taught a multimedia class in high school. And from there, I was pulled to intern at my local news station, and which was very exciting. And I was like, oh, that's my dream. But most of it ended up being editing. which I loved. And by the end of the internship, I couldn't stand it anymore. I was so done with it. I don't know how people take on editing as their only job. It's the same way as I can't play video games all day. Yeah. It's the screen. But I've taken on editing of the film we just did because I don't want to pay anybody.
Yeah, that's real.
And I want it to look how I want it to look.
Yes.
And then if it doesn't look as great as I hoped, then I'll pay someone.
Yeah, that's real.
It's hard to let go of the baby.
Yes. No, with the Gordons, I like, this past episode, I, like, edited in, and I asked for other people's opinion, but then I was like, no, I'm just going to keep it in. I can't keep editing this.
Yeah.
But then there was, like, 7 seconds of police siren, and I was like, God, if somebody had just, like, bashed it into my head, like, don't do that.
No.
But it's okay. It's fine, you know. Next episode is going to be better. Their mouths might move.
That would be a feat.
I don't know if we've been able to talk about the, like, production side of that, but I'm very excited to, like, tell you more about that later.
I'm really excited too. I love a stop motion pumpkin.
Yeah, stop motion pumpkin. Yeah. I'm realizing I should have had more questions. I just, like, love talking to you.
I love talking too.
Yay. Okay.
I know. I'm like, I have more to say. I just don't know how to like start a train. This podcast is so special because I'm finding it. You know, like, usually if you have like a hyper interest, you have to learn how to not talk about it. And now I've been asked to talk about it, and I don't know how to bring it all out and just fly with it.
No, I recently bought a book for my boyfriend's mother about horses.
Aww.
She was really excited. She loves horses. But she was really happy, and she was like, you're letting me have my freak flag fly. And I was like, okay, Kathleen, okay.
That's so cute.
So, I'm very excited. That, also, that Christmas dinner, she said something about being a furry. And my friend Lee has decided that he wants to draw her as her fursona.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm actually really excited to see this piece of work.
That's awesome.
I have been begging Lee to draw me as, like, a shark, but
Ooh.
I feel like that's kind of hard. Like,
I don't know. I feel like there's less. You don't have to do fingers.
No,
like,
it's just flippers or whatever.
I should know more about
it.
With, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of dope. I had also talked about furries at Christmas dinner, and it was a vastly different conversation. I respect furries so much.
Yes, yeah, no.
Furries would be great on a film set.
Oh my goodness.
They are so dedicated and artistic, and they get stuff done.
No, and the money that they have for those fursuits, incredible. It's just like, maybe put that towards my film.
Yeah!
Put that towards my film.
Oh, we should start doing... If we make a film geared toward furries and advertise it to furries, it'd be messed up. But they'd probably donate quite a lot.
Yeah, well, I think that I read a tweet that was like, furries are coming to the mainstream this year. Or maybe... It was if somebody else I was talking to, and so I was like, well...
I think it's a result of Zootopia and The Bad Guys.
Yes, okay. Zootopia had a sequel, right? Did it come out, or...
Oh my gosh, did it?
I don't know if it came out.
No, there was Zootopia Plus, the show.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either,
it's probably
great. Yeah, no, because, like, Tangled, the TV show, the music in it is beautiful. Not to plug Disney, because I hate Disney as a company, but, like... Tangled, the TV show music is beautiful, and I love it. And
there's a boy with, like, a stripe in his hair in that show, and every time I hear his part of any song, I get really upset because I just want to be him.
Oh my goodness, that's so real.
Great character. That's okay. Here's a hyper interest of mine.
Yeah.
I wish there were classes at my college for this. Children's media. Oh, I love children's media.
There is at Reynolds Community College.
Really?
Yes, for children's literature.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes, it's a really good class. shout out to Reynolds Community College. Really good. Well, for some people, not everyone loves it, but that's okay. I had a really good time when I went there before VCU.
Yes.
Not to disparage my school, but you know.
VCU has its ups and downs.
Yeah. But you know, I was actually when I talked to the film advisor, she was like, "Look, you've already got so many credits. Don't go into the film major because it's mainly about like meeting people, and you're already on sets, so you're already meeting people." So I was like, dang it.
That's a good point. It sucks, but you are like already 3 years ahead of the kids who are in that program.
So I gotta but I still have like skills I should learn that are like I don't know how to handle a camera. I don't know what I'm doing with this. Yeah. I'm like, it's happening.
I'll be honest, somehow in my time at film school, the camera is the thing I know the least about.
That's crazy.
I really took film school and turned it into a management major.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I feel like you get what you want out of it, maybe.
Yeah. Like, I know what I like to see. Like, because I've directed, I can tell a DP if I think it's not what I want, but I cannot tell them how to get there.
Like, you're gonna have to move the camera in this way and maybe that way, but like, I don't know about like, I just want it to look like this.
Yes, pretty much.
That's good. I feel like that's a good skill, like knowing, like having a vision, so to speak.
Yeah, it's that's one of the hardest in film school. For a lot of people, if a lot of people have a hard time, I think you just need to watch a lot of movies to know how to frame something the way you want it. Because, like, we're taught, like, if you want two people on the screen, this might be how to do it. But if these two people are, like, sad or extremely happy, you're going to want to make it look different. And I think that the emotional aspect to what the camera's doing is, like, I feel like you can't learn it by the teacher telling you it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, I took like a film class in high school, which got me that's where I started the idea for the Gordons. I had like a whole other script for my final project, but then I was like, shoot, I'm going to go with the harder one, because even though it's stop motion and I have to film and like edit it all, I didn't end up finishing it, but I, had this like beautiful idea and just like wrote out a script that took a couple of years to edit and finally got it on. And that always reminds me that it's like, it doesn't matter how long you take to do what you need to do, but like, as long as you do it. Yeah.
And I think it's also like, you made the movie that you wanted to make instead of making it for someone else or for like ulterior reasons.
Yeah, like, it's my brainchild. I will raise it the way I want it.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you're watching a movie, you can kind of tell if people on set, on set sometimes when you're filming something, you're like, oh, this is going to be bad, but I'm making a paycheck, so that's great. And I think when I'm watching a movie, I can tell whether the crew was liking it or not.
Yes.
Some films are just like if the energy wasn't there on set, it's not going to be there in the theater.
Right. Well, I think about the show Riverdale, because I feel like the crew and the cast were having a lot of fun with it, but ultimately hated the show.
Yeah.
So that's why it got like weird and some might say bad in the end, but some might also say it was bad from the beginning, but I enjoyed it. So, and like, what were we just talking about like shit TV and movies? Like,
shit TV and movies are so important.
And you learn so much from them, and like what you don't like or what you think is funny, or like, it's just like sometimes they have more like emotion or like verve.
Yes. And watching, especially because a lot of shitty ones are low budget, and you're like, well, at least what I'm making is like, if what I'm making was higher budget, it might be that.
Yes.
So maybe like some films really don't need as much budget as they have.
No, sometimes I think about like the budget that like any of the Marvel movies have, and I'm like, okay, I'm a hater of Marvel movies. I used to be a lover. But then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, am I really gonna settle for this? I feel like I haven't watched enough like Marvel stuff to be able to be like definitive on anything like that,
fair.
But because like I haven't watched any of the TV shows, but
I've been slacking on those.
I don't know. I think also I come from a very like comic, like I enjoy the comics, and so when things are different in the TV shows, and I know that's just how it rolls, because even in the comics things change, but it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
What are you doing again?
Sometimes I wonder if, because movies get so much hate for being different from comics, I wonder if one day they're going to start making comics that are specifically written to be movies. Because no one seems to be getting it right.
No.
I don't know why I never read comics, but I think that's probably done me good, because I think I like 75% of Marvel movies. And I think I only like 5% of DC movies, but the ones I like, I love.
That's real.
Yeah.
No.
They're just so different, because all the directors are wildly different.
Yes. Did you watch the Joker one with Lady Gaga?
I did.
Is it good?
I loved it. See, everyone's going to say, Hekla, it's a mid-take. I love that movie.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I thought it was a masterpiece. I think it had nothing to do with superheroes, and it was just a mental health movie.
That's real.
And it was one of the most realistic mental health movies I've ever seen.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was crying for half of it. And I saw it in not on purpose, I saw it in a theater where the screen took up 3 walls.
Whoa.
Which I would have chosen probably a cooler movie for that.
Yeah.
But it was so immersive, and...
Was it 4D? Like, did it have, like, wind blowing at you?
No!
Okay.
I thought it was going to be that, and I was terrified.
No, 4D movies are never worth the hype. Movie... Okay, except for the SpongeBob one. I did watch the SpongeBob one because it was a 4D SpongeBob movie, but except for they would blow bubbles and blow a little bit of air and, like, mist in the air, which was fine until you were, like, damp by the end of the freaking movie because of how, like, they only have so many 4D, like, things to do.
And they're literally underwater. They should have just started filling the room up.
No, I felt like a vegetable in, like, a, you know, like, at a grocery store.
I always wanted to be a vegetable at the grocery store as a kid. I wondered all the time if I would get in trouble if I just put my face under the mist, because it looked so nice. It
did, but, you know, now I think you can use a hose.
That's a good
like
point.
a mister, or like some shower heads do that, like if you like turn the... Yeah, I don't have one of those, but...
you could put on, you know, theme parks have those in the lines. You just put on like a vlog. It's very immersive.
Oh my goodness. Recently I fell asleep to a YouTube video about roller coasters.
Ooh.
But it was like
Slept to that?
No, it was an 8-hour video meant for you to sleep to it about roller coaster facts. It was like all of the roller coaster facts of every video that he's ever published all in one.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I would love to sleep. Do you think you took in the information while you were sleeping?
No.
Oh.
And I love it.
That's awesome.
I'm like, I don't need to be taking in information while I sleep. Yeah. I just need to like hear the words of some like man who very much enjoys roller coasters.
Yeah. That would be a great second version of this podcast.
No, I should start a second part that's like, you want to fall asleep? Here, No Sleep Podcast Except for it's not scary, it's just facts.
Yeah.
And I just start naming all of the different facts I have about, like, sea cucumbers and their two gonads. So,
that would be crazy.
Yeah.
They should make movies that are meant to go to sleep to. Because I cannot watch Twilight one more time. I think Amazon Prime's going to put me on a list. I go to sleep watching Twilight, like, every night because it's very...
Okay.
The talking's very dull,
Yes.
the color's very dull, and their voices are very... They're not soothing, but they're not going to wake you up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they hated filming that movie.
I'm not surprised. But there's, like,
funny.
so many of them.
I know. It's crazy.
No, and I love all of them. Like, they're so good,
I
but
love
also,
them.
like, that's crazy that they hated them. I'm not surprised.
I love Robert Pattinson and everything they do.
Yes.
And Kristen is just... Ever since they came out on SNL to Trump as gay, like, they've been so cool since then.
I didn't even know that. I stopped watching SNL for a while because I was, like, in my hating my mother era.
Ooh, does she like it?
Yeah, she really likes SNL.
See, I think you would like it. Okay, I've been on a spree of Sarah Sherman interacting with Colin Jost.
Okay.
Sarah Sherman is the new SNL member with a mullet who dresses like a clown. And she's incredible. She's so funny. And then Colin Jost is like this... He looks like an accountant.
Did she come up with the song that's like Sabrina Carpenter trying to be like, I'm gay?
Probably.
Nobody wants to believe that I'm gay.
That sounds like something she would do.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that they have such a loud gay person on SNL.
Yes.
It's so cool.
That is good.
That's the only reason I'm watching it.
That's real.
Ugh.
No. Carter always talks about how he wants to do like a gay SNL.
Ooh.
It's just completely gay, and I think that would be good.
I think the issue with that is it might become 2015 BuzzFeed.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
We might cause a problem for the community. But also, I think all the funniest comedians are gay.
Yeah, that's
So
real.
they're already taking over. No, you know what gay SNL is?
What?
Improv teams.
Yes. Okay, but I had you remember that roommate of mine that was on an improv team?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to see that improv team, and boy, howdy, did they do so much better without her.
Oh.
And I was like,
dang.
that's so unfortunate. But then when I talked to some of them, they were like, dang, she's not in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's so awkward. Because I feel like, similar to casts in films, improv teams are only as good as, like, the chemistry of the team is.
Yes.
Because how could you even be on an improv team with an enemy?
Yes.
It'd be like...
Like, how am I supposed to joke and laugh about lobsters or something?
Yes!
And when I can't, like...
If I'm over here being like, there was no lobster, what are you talking about? Yes, and what you're talking about never happened.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be so funny.
Is there a lot of yes-anding on, like, your film sets, do you think? Because, like, is there a lot of improv in your stuff, or do you have it very much, like... Because, like, I know that, like, when I've seen you direct, you're like, this is how I want it to look, but sometimes there's, like, room for that improv.
My first feeling is, if Ava Van Ameringen is in the cast, it will be improv. Shout out to Ava Van Ameringen. She's the best actress in the world, I believe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, on the one I just did, I was the main character. And naturally, because I wrote it and I was the cast, I improv'd a lot. Yeah. And people didn't really know. And the only person who's in charge, there's one person on set who's actually in charge of knowing whether we're doing the right thing or not, and it's the script supervisor. And they were so sweet. They would just write it down. They wouldn't be like, Hekla, you said the wrong word, because they knew I was just doing whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And so, I think it really depends. because sometimes, so I just directed Poser, which you were a PA on, and I think the cast was so new, and they'd rehearsed so much that if someone improv'd, it would throw everyone off.
Okay.
And there's it really has to be like people who are trained to do improv, I think.
Okay.
Or the director.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely not. Like, I like to do improv, and this is improv, you know?
Yeah.
But when it's, like, funny improv, that's when I, like, get into my real dry humor, and then nobody gets it. And I'm like,
No, that's the worst is when it's, like, be funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
No. We had, like, this play at my college that, like, it was, for colored girls as the shortened name of it, and they, like, were having a problem because the dance choreographer was like, I need you to improv this.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she was giving no other direction except for I need you to improv this dance.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because that's what we just did on my film, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, improv needs a lot of guidance in that way.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the film I just did, there's dancers who represent the main character's delusions. The main character has psychosis, and instead of doing, like, some Fight Club or, like, kind of thing, I had their delusions are dancers. And instead of choreographing specific things, most of it was improv.
Yeah.
But I would say, can you get from point A to point B dancing?
Yeah.
Or right now you have to pretend that you are a knight and you must protect this person. And it's hard because I think the relationships you have with everyone and what's going on needs to be complete, like Dungeons and Dragons. It all has to be laid out for you.
Yes. No, because it's like with this specific situation, it was just like there was no direction to, like, where you were supposed to be going or what the, like, emotion was, except for, like, what you were taking from the script, you know, and then it was, like, also being communicated between the assistant choreographer and the actor instead of the choreographer, and so it was just, like, you know, they didn't have that same relationship, and like you said, with D&D, like, you know, I feel like sometimes I need to make my players do acting exercises before we start so that they can get comfortable with each other.
I love when you do that.
Because I'm like, I need us to feel comfortable to, like, role play and just nerd out instead of, like, whatever, nonsense, scared of being cringe or whatever.
Because it's like, I need to know that if I'm going to go, I challenge you to a duel, that you're not just going to sit there and be like, no, don't do that. Like, I need to know that we can, like, riff and get through this together.
Yes.
It's like a team sport. Improv is a team sport.
Improv is a team sport, yes.
I like when it's organized and, when comedians do the thing where they're like, give me a word. And I'm like, oh, what if no one says a good word?
Yeah.
I get stressed out.
That's when you have to have, like, a good word in your back pocket. And because sometimes as the DM of a Dungeons & Dragons game, rarely, I feel like you have to have, like, a secret path instead, because it's like, what if your players decide they want to turn left and you didn't write about turning left because you thought they would be enticed by the sexy woman on the right?
No!
And then it's like, no, they were not interested in the sexy woman because you put too many sexy women in this game.
I think there's an alternative problem.
Sometimes you put too many sexy women in a game, and then everyone's like, you can't call them beautiful. I don't know.
Roll to see how beautiful they are. That's my... Okay, I got in trouble once because the first time I ever DM'd a Dungeons & Dragons game was at the gaming club at my school.
Okay.
And I was like, and this beautiful elf woman appears, and someone who was like a freshman was like, I want to roll to see how big her boobs are. And the teacher came over and was like, let's run that back. But I was like...
Did you let her roll?
I did in the moment.
Okay.
Because I was like, I think that's funny.
Yeah.
They're clearly engaged.
Yeah.
And maybe they're saying that in the way that their character might have been.
Yeah.
I gave the person the benefit of the doubt that maybe their character is just really interested in women's boobs. But, yeah, it was really awkward. And that was one of those things where it's like, you have to have rules because poor guy probably thought that was exactly what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to do a film where it's like roll to figure out what happens next in the film.
Okay, I have this like, I wrote this essay for a while ago about Clue and like a Marxist analysis of Clue.
Whoa.
And I love Clue, and I love how there's like those different endings depending on like which theater you went to, and that's how it kind of led to its original downfall, but then it also led to its resurgence in the early 2000s. And so I'm just like, I need to do more stuff like that. You know, like Netflix did this like it was like a Black Mirror type episode or show or maybe movie. Bandersnatch.
I loved that.
Yeah, having those little choices ending to the different things I really loved. I also loved the Bear Grylls one. I did that like in, oh my goodness. You get to basically choose like if he drinks his own pee or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then you watch him drink his own
Oh, but it's your fault.
pee. Yeah. So I guess like if you're into that, yeah.
I wonder if people do that more. I guess they have to film double the content.
Yes.
If not quadruple the content.
Right.
But I feel like it must have been so successful.
It was. And with the Clue, like the endings, like those 3 endings based off of what you chose, then you get those 2 different endings, and it's like, 1, the woman killed all of the people. 1, the other woman killed all of the people. Or 2, this guy is actually straight and everybody else killed 1 person.
Whoa.
It's good. But
yeah. I love that.
I love film.
Me too. I love film.
That's where I'm gonna end it here.
It's been, oh my gosh, it's been so long.
Yeah, I figured maybe not everyone's gonna watch to this end point, but
it's okay.
That's okay.
I think we're far enough that I can say something controversial.
Yeah, what's the controversial thing?
If you're still listening, which you aren't, so the FNAF movie was so terrifying, and I think it should be hailed as a real horror movie with respect. And I also I'm really upset that they used MGMT in the Minecraft trailer because that song is so good and it's about anti-capitalism, and the Minecraft movie is really given capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, like, isn't the main guy, like, who created Minecraft also, like, really racist and, like, just a weird guy?
I don't know.
Yes.
What?
Oh my, I have so much to tell you.
Oh,
anyway,
there's going to be a podcast after podcast.